Next up, we have Stardust Speedway P mix from the Sonic the Hedgehog CD soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you're gonna use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, the gaming channel, how to request songs if you're not on the live stream. I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. Also, at the time of recording this, we just did the original version of this track, so let's see what goes on here. All right, Stardust Speedway P. Let's go. Okay, so we start with we have this melody going on over here. The P-Mix P stands for past. The Sonic literally travels to the past, and the music reflects on that, being more subdued. Okay, so there's time travel, so it plays into this. Right now, of course, we start with this vocal sample. It's so funny. Doing an initial melody, which might contain our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the essence from which everything else comes from. We have the drums as well coming in. The drums have what is called the hi-hat. Let me bring you a drum kit, right? A drum kit. A drum kit, as you will usually see, is gonna have. Let me go the upper view. This is what an electric kit looks like. And we are having several parts of the drum. We have, of course, the big one, which is the bass drum or the kick drum. The reason why it's called the kick drum informally is because you use your foot to just press down on this pedal and it just kicks the drum. You have the snare over here, which contains some wires at the bottom. Snare contains wires at the bottom, which are for some reason, they're not wires, they're cables that are for some reason called wires, which give it that bah kind of sound. Then you have the different cymbals, the most common ones being the hi-hat. The hi-hat is going to be the hi-hat is usually going to be two cymbals put one on top of the other and then placed on a pedal so that the pedal itself adjusts the distance between the two. It's the one that goes tss. Then you have the other cymbals. Usually over here you would have what is called the crash cymbal. Why? Because when you play it, it goes crash. Yeah, the drums can be, then you can have that kind of naming convention. For example, then you have the other two or three, depending, 1, 2, or 3 that you might have depending on the drum kit, which are called the toms. Why? Because when you play them, they go tum, tum, tum. I'm not making the rules here, okay? And then you might have a secondary crash, you might have a second crash, or a splash, or a china, or something like that. That just will do different. And then we have the ride over here. So, with that, correct, you can't skip the explanation this time because this is live. Okay, so we're having that, and the hi-hat itself is doing a type of rhythm that is called swing. Swing is a type of jazz. It's a type of jazz that it has existed for a very long time, where I'm not going to go too much into detail about too many of the intricacies of it. However, one of the defining elements is the bim tan tan taram paparam 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 kind of rhythm that we're getting, which means this track, while the track that we did originally, the original Stardust Speedway, was more on the jazz funk fusion, this one is a lot more leaning towards the jazz side of things. Now we also have the bass coming in, giving us that very, very unique type of bass lines that you only get in jazz and funk, which are not necessarily just keeping the lowest note, but they also have a little bit of just going off the rails. Let's see where this goes. Oh my god. Okay, so we then bring another synth, and it's panning. It's doing some active panning. It's either active panning or there's two of them. And we're doing so. The concept of panning, we haven't done this one in a while. Panning in audio is when you focus one channel or speaker over another. When it comes to audio, we treat stuff in channels. The number of channels is the number of speakers that your sound or your track is designed to go through. There's three main setups of these channels. There's mono, which is a single channel. There's stereo, which is 2 channels, which is the standard that we have. Most people will have stereo because, left ear, right ear, headphones, you can have the stereo. And then there's surround, which becomes a little bit more complicated. You have 3.1, 5.1, 7.1. I think places like the Sphere in Vegas might have 9.1 or even 11.1. Not entirely sure. The 0.1 is the subwoofer, the bassy speaker. Then the 3, 5, 7 is going to be the additional number of speakers that we have. So usually we deal in stereo. Stereo is going to be, therefore, 2 speakers. Usually 1 for the left, 1 for the right. So here you have left speaker, right speaker. You have yourself right here. Look at you, all happy, deformed, and bald, therefore evil. So the way that panning works is that when you have something coming at 100 or the same volume from both left and right speakers, it's going to sound like it comes from the front. Let's say we have a guitar track. If it's played at 100% volume, it's going to sound like it comes from the front if it's at both sides. However, if we start lowering the volume on one speaker, the more we lower it, the further it's going to start sounding like it is from the other end. There's 7.1 in headphones is great. I think I have one that has that at least emulated. Since the sequence instead of digital audio, it also means that it's limited by the amount of channel sound chip provided. Yeah, and in this case, we are having... no, you're talking about layers, 7 audio layers, not channels. The channels are going to be the speakers at which they can be put, which can influence that. Anyway, happy to form bald and acoustic. There you go. So yeah, then you have 2 types of panning. There is, in my opinion, active and passive. Passive means that at the start of your composition, you determine this one is going to be on this ear, and that's where it stays. And active is when you actively change it over time. For example, right now I have this piano, right? Over here I have the panning slider because we're so advanced in this that we have the slider. So the more I slide this to the left, the more it sounds to the left. The more I slide this to the right, the more it sounds towards the right. And right now what I'm doing, I am just actively panning between the two. Banana, welcome today. Let me close the queue on Kick. I forgot to do that. No, it's not. No, it's not, Banana. So we're having some active panning in the chord, right? In the keyboard, giving us the chords. That's all I wanted to say. Random Human, welcome today. How you doing? Let's see where this goes. Oh, there you go. Saxophone. Saxophone bringing us what would be a leitmotif. So now we have a similar motif that what we used back in the original Stardust Speedway, and now we are having what is called a leitmotif. Of course, in this case, this is a variation of the original one, so... yeah, and so far, no. Banana. So we're having a leitmotif. A leitmotif is a motif that exists. What is it? No, heavy motif. No, that's not. No, there's no such thing as a heavy. I mean, there are heavy motifs, but they sound heavy. A leitmotif is a motif that is used in a second or further piece for the purpose of calling back or referencing back to the original piece. So, in this case, we're having one of the motifs from the original Stardust Speedway, from the original one, and now we are having this one. Now, however, because this one is more of variations of the same piece, this could just be considered the motif, because we are doing variations on the original piece. It could then be considered that all of these are the same track, just done differently. You can argue that this is just a motif and not a leitmotif, because these are the same piece. It's one of those confusing things about music that you can claim one way or another. There was pronounced light motif. No, light motif. Light because the way is because it's written this way because it's coined by Richard Wagner, who was German. So light in the German, like this is German light. So yeah, let's see where this goes. We're having the motif. Let's see where it goes. The disc scratches from last time. Nice. And another thing to differentiate right now is while the original version had the horn section, which horn section again is going to be 2 trumpets, one trombone, and 1 saxophone. Usually, like you might get variations of this depending on the ensemble, but usually your horn section is going to be 2 trumpets, trombone, and sax. Right now, we are having just the saxophone. The ensemble, without the electronic elements, is very much resembling more that of an older jazz ensemble rather than a more contemporary jazz funk fusion ensemble. Never know, maybe one day somebody will come up with a heavy motif, probably. Let's see where this goes. There's the scratching more aggressive in this track. We bring back, in this case, it sounds like in between a banjo and a bass, and it's being used as a call and response. Call and response, once again, of course, call and response being a musical conversation where you have 2 parts, one part doing something. When it ends, the other one does something else in response. We're having this. Sorry, that was my computer. In this case, it sounds like it was this bass / banjo, so like the sax. No, it's just the sax. Yeah. So yeah, let's see where it goes. That sounds like between a banjo and a bass, and it's being panned very actively, very aggressively. We bring in the piano doing variation of the motif. Similar to the first time around, we are doing a reduction. The reduction is when you play a faster version of a previous melody, right? While the rest of the ensemble is staying pretty much the same. First time around, the first one, that kind of melody, and this one instead, doing a lot faster rhythmically. That is just what a reduction is. And another thing to note, the piano sounds very distorted as if it was an older piano. We are trying to use a lot of these sounds to emulate and say, oh yeah, while this we have the whole sci-fi aspect of time travel, these are older instruments that we are using. These are older recordings. These are older ways. So I like the bit of storytelling being told over here. Let's see where this goes. Very nice. Now we're just going back and forth between the 2 variations. There you go. Another synth playing chords on underneath that. Sound of silence, but reflect on the past timeline. You see, I didn't even have to play the game to realize it. Let's see where it goes. Man, I like how the layers are just being added over here. It's really good. There we go. We bring back the saxophone. And we're having the call and response between the saxophone and the disc scratching. Old versus new kind of thing. Let's see where this goes. It's really cool. Very funky. And by the way, this one over here still meets the funk, and the previous one as well, I forgot to mention it, but this one also meets the idea of groove. Groove is a very, very weird thing that happens particularly in funk or jazz sometimes, mostly funk. It's mostly in funk, where every single instrument is doing something different. Something so different that if you were to isolate any of the individual parts, unless you already knew that these were all doing the same piece, you would have a difficult time telling that they are all doing the same piece. However, all of these seemingly disjointed parts put together result in a working in what is called groove. Groove, of course, that is 1970, the 1970s term, 1960s, 1970s term for what we nowadays just call vibe. Same underlying concept, is just that music tends to preserve the terminology when it is said. Like when the term comes up, it is then put in stasis, and that's how the term is, which is why many of the terms that we have nowadays are in Italian or Latin, because you know we have stuff like the articulations, right? Staccato, staccato, legato, marcato, arco, pizzicato. We have all of these different Italian words, and it's because when the terms were first invented and popularized, it was during those times when Italian was the lingua franca, it was the common tongue, and we just never bothered changing them because it's better to just uniformalize everything to make everything simpler and easier to learn. So yeah, we're having that. We're having a really, really cool groove. Let's see where this goes. The scratch and the sax. There's the banjo bass doing its own variation. And every once in a while, we're adding additional notes to give this a more semblance of a solo. Like, it sounds more like a solo than it does like just a pre-made melody. This is similar enough to what Stravinsky would call planned improvisation. Planned improvisation is something that Stravinsky did a lot. When you make it so that things sound a lot more improvised, you add a lot of extra notes in between, a lot of extra flair to the melody, so that it sounds a lot more improvised than it does just a pre-composed things. It makes things sound a little bit more dynamic. Right? Let's see where this goes. We're gonna go on this. Back we go to the motif, the reduction. Nice. And another thing I just noticed, the swing that we had at the start is pretty much gone. From the hi-hat is pretty much gone. Let's see where this goes. Valor, welcome today. That sucks. The bass is very bouncy. Yeah, the bass is doing a lot of staccato, which is, you know, very short bursts of music, and it's very groovy. Like, bass lines in funk are some of the most creative things that you can do. All right, let's see how this ends. Because I think it's going to fade out as well. And yeah. All right, there you go. We reached the loop point, and then it just repeats, maybe fades out in the game as well, but basically in video games, in older video games, the whole point is that this just keeps playing over and over and over and over again until something changes in the scene. And there you have it. There was Stardust Speedway, the P-Mix from the Sonic the Hedgehog CD soundtrack. That was fun. That was fun stuff. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a Layman-Friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you're going to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first, whether it's the videos going live, videos going up on the channels, the streams going live, announcements, projects, everything, updates, everything gets announced there first. Of course, that's where we also have the community where we hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own, and of course where I host the Vintage Story game server. It used to be a Minecraft mod, now it's a standalone. I prefer it over Minecraft, which is why I built a computer just to host it. So yeah, join the community today, linked in the description, join the Discord. Also share these videos with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos with everybody that you know. Also use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that. Help out the channel, join the Discord. That's another reason. Join, look at that. Yes, artists, musicians, or otherwise on YouTube or elsewhere, this is an open invitation. If you want any of my musical skills for any of your projects, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, the girl kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting, if you want help figuring out something for a composition, whatever it is, reach out, let me know, let's work together, let's make stuff, right? And if you're in the audience and you know somebody that can benefit, reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone, please don't spam anyone, be cool about things, don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs, that's up to around 1 week in advance, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions on how to request. I don't have a script, okay? I'm just doing this from memory. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim from Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. Another reason to join the Discord. So if you live in Old Comer Go Station parking lot for some reason, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry, just go to Discord or Twitch and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because of course I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. Recorded live during the main channel's after show, and then the recordings go here. Linked in the description, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G and you got it. And yeah. There you have it. Stardust Speedway P-Mix. That was fun, dude. Fun stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.